Hey, Tadie here from the Online Seller Circle, and within this video we're going to cover the tools, software and the services that you need and are vital to your business in order to systemize and grow and also automate your business, and also the various levels within your virtual team, who's going to need access to what to obviously get all of their tasks done on a daily basis. Within your business, you've got obviously the sourcing team, the system, you've got the purchasing system or the team that's going to do the purchasing and the reviewing for you. You've got business management, which may be a senior virtual assistant, but also it may be yourself and perhaps an operations manager in due course, and also any kind of accounts or prep center. You've got then the communication channels that you need to have for all of those people within your team and external to your business. And you've also got other software and tool provision that you'll need as well. So taking into account the first one, which is the sourcing system. Now the sourcing team are going to need access to a deal analyzer. Now that's key in order for them to find the deals for you and also be able to verify them very quickly against your criteria to ensure that what they're looking at and what they're providing to you gives them a big tick in the box, so that they can continue to do that on a daily basis. They'll also need, at the same time, they're going to need access to Keeper as well. Now Keeper obviously provides vital historic information as well as current information about the price, the history of sales, competition, etc., that the products that they're looking to source has on the listing on Amazon. Now you may have within your sourcing team a number of sourcing VAs that particularly use tactical arbitrage, which is a scanning software. So whilst we say when you first start out with your sourcing team to bring on board manual sources within a specific category, they're definitely going to need access to the deal analyzer and Keeper to do the manual sourcing. But also over time, you may want to then bring in and onboard additional sourcing VAs into your business that specifically use just the scanning software such as tactical arbitrage. And that's what they're doing. They're scanning and they're running scans on a daily basis for you across multiple categories in line with your sourcing criteria. So that's definitely a piece of software that you'll need to look to invest in and then provide access to those individuals so that they can complete the roles and responsibilities of their job description. You might also, as you broaden your sourcing abilities from online arbitrage to wholesale, you might also want them to scan and do reverse searches against wholesaler lists. So catalogs, for example, where they can simply upload the manifest and they can then run scans quickly using tactical arbitrage to find profitable deals for you. Now, within the sourcing team, you may also wish to provide them with access on a limited basis to your Amazon Seller Central account so that they are able to ensure that the deals that they're finding, they're eligible to obviously resell them against your account, and also that you can definitely see that there's no further restrictions such as hazmat, for example. So that's key as well. And they're the four main areas of tools and software that they will need to use in order to fulfill their role. There may be additional, not necessarily non-compulsory software and tools that they need access to, but these are the absolute compulsory ones that we suggest that you are definitely using as you grow your business from a sourcing perspective, but as you also onboard virtual assistants into that system and that process. For purchasing, they're also going to need access to a deal analyzer. So as you grow your team, depending on what deal analyzer you're using, we suggest the FBA multi-tool. You may need to take on more licenses from that provider to enable more devices to be added to your account. So if you start on their standard tier, their standard package, which is a subscription per month, you may only have access to 2 license codes, which basically means one license code with one device. Now, you might already be using one of those license codes yourself, in which case your first sourcing assistant will use the second one. As you grow your business, you'll then need to pay slightly more a month to expand the number of license codes that you have access to, so that you can then provide them to your team so that they can continue doing their job for you. They'll also need access to Keeper, because the purchasing person is not just going to be purchasing the deals. They also need to shortlist all of the deals that are coming from the sourcing team to be 100% certain that everything that sourcing team are providing them with on a daily basis absolutely 100% meets your criteria. And really they're the control point. So you want to ensure that before they go ahead and purchase those deals, they're doing one final check over. They're going through the control measures that you've set in place to ensure, yes, they're definitely a matching product. It hits your minimum criteria. They'll know obviously how many units that you want to go ahead and purchase, dependent on whether it's a brand new product, a new winner, or it's a replenishable that they've purchased before. So they'll have their own set criteria, and they'll need to have access to both the deal analyzer and also Keeper to vet those deals before going ahead and clicking that button and purchasing them. They're also going to need access to the various cashback sites that either you pay for on a monthly basis or that are free to you. So there are a number of cashback sites available, and we suggest using as many as possible in order for you to compound the amount of cashback on your purchases that you're making on a daily basis. So before you even take on a senior virtual assistant, the question is, are you using all known sources of cashback sites available to you? We use Complete Savings in our business, which is currently at a cost of £15 a month. But because of the incentive that we have within our account, whereby we can claim that back each month and then benefit from the additional 10% on every single purchase, if we go through that cashback site, that compounds very handsomely. By the end of each year, we've made a very nice saving indeed. If the retailer that you're looking to purchase from, or that your senior virtual assistant is looking to purchase from, isn't actually on Complete Savings, we then have a default where they would then search the second cashback site, which is Delivery Deals, to see if they can get if the retailer's available and they can get cash back from that site. And we then have a third option and a fourth option. So we're making sure at all stages throughout our purchasing system and the process that our team follows, that they're checking to ensure that we can get as much cash back as possible, but also analysing the sites to ensure that we go with the highest percentage cash back possible as well from the various options that are available. They will also need access to your Amazon Seller Central account as well. Now we've put an asterisk by this one underneath obviously the purchasing team, because they will definitely need access to it, because they'll still need to verify and vet that the deals that have come from the sourcing team are 100% eligible to resell in line with your the criteria and also the restrictions and requirements of your Seller Central account. But actually they need more access than what the sourcing team would need. So they would have limited access, and these guys would have limited access, but they'd have more availability to do what they need to do within your Seller Central account. From a business management perspective, you're going to need to have a repricer in your business, so that once you've purchased those deals, you set a minimum, a maximum, and a price rule for those products that are going into your prep center and then into the fulfillment center, so that you do it once and you don't then need to touch it again until let's say three months plus, where you want to then obviously look at your inventory and see what's moving, what's not moving, and obviously assess why it's not moving, and then take the necessary actions to kind of get that stock sold. You're also going to need some accounting software. So whether you are doing your books yourself, you may wish to use Xero as an example accounting software, also integrating A2X, so that can pull the data from your Amazon Seller Central account correctly identify all of the information it needs, and then zap that into Xero, so that on a monthly basis, you know, and also automatically it does that for you based on your sales, the fees that you're being charged, etc., so that you've got an account of your books on a daily basis, but you can then review that as and when you require. If you're obviously using an accountant who is going to be doing your annual returns and perhaps doing your bookkeeping for you as well, they may give you access to their accounting software. So whatever you choose, you need to make sure you've got some sort of accounting software in place so that you can see your P&L on a regular basis, and make sure that you're working towards the correct business objective and also the targets that you've set out for your business. You may wish to use a CRM, and we use Asana within our business, and Asana is not just used from a business management team perspective, but actually our purchasing and reviewing team are also have access to Asana. And Asana is fantastic for project managing and also creating various teams and projects within the software, so that you know what you're doing on a daily basis, but your team knows what they're doing on a daily basis, and you can set tasks and deadlines and reoccurring tasks also, so that they can fulfill the objectives and their role on a daily basis for you. You may wish to use a software such as Seller Toolkit, which allows you to track not only your sales in real time, but also assess your profit, assess your inventory, deal with any reimbursements or refunds or returns that you've received from customers or that are due from Amazon, deal with any customer cases, any messages, any raised cases that you need to manage with Seller Central. And this is an absolutely brilliant software that combines all of those processes into one dashboard and allows you to provide access not only to yourself, but also various members of your team as well, dependent on what they're responsible for completing. A lot about software and tools to use to really help you automate and systemize the processes. And one thing we were doing early on within our business was manually recording time via Google Sheets, and then having to pay our team members either via PayPal or TransferWise, which was all a manual process and took a lot of time. And what we've started to utilize within our business over the last year is a software called Hubstaff, which allows you to track the productivity of every single member that you have working within your team, so your virtual team, but also not only to track and monitor productivity, but also to be able to pay them automatically as well. So with Hubstaff, you can integrate a payment gateway, which we've got below it. So you may wish to use PayPal as your chosen payment gateway to pay your team, either twice a month or monthly, depending on the interval, the frequency of which you're paying them. But Hubstaff allows you to integrate your payment gateway, whatever that is that you've chosen, and automatically receive invoices at the point at which they're due to be paid, to obviously track and assess the amount of hours or the rate of pay and the total amount that's due on that invoice, decide whether or not to actually approve that timesheet and that invoice, and then at a click of a button enables you to pay them directly without having to open up the payment gateway in a separate URL and a separate tab on your laptop, and able to pay them instantly. So it's a fantastic piece of software that provides us with an efficient way of monitoring performance, tracking progress, tracking what they're doing on a daily basis, so that if we need to review that, we can do via screenshots and timestamps, but also for paying those individuals as well. It speeds up the process dramatically for us. And the final one is recruitment. So you will need to use a recruitment platform within the business and operations sector. So making sure that you're utilizing the recruitment platform that works for you, whether it be you need to recruit a senior virtual assistant into your team, or whether it be a new sourcing team member that you need to onboard, or perhaps also you might just want to have one project completed, such as a website built, because you're starting within the wholesale strategy, in which case you want to have an online presence. So you might want to just contract a project out to a virtual assistant, a freelancer online. So you're going to need to have access to the relevant recruitment platforms in order for you to achieve that. Communication is really key within your team to make sure that if there's ever any changes to any processes, there's new updates within your business, but also on a one-to-one meeting basis and a team meeting level on a monthly basis, communication is absolutely key. There needs to be consistent communication within your team, whether it be the senior VAs who are managing the sourcing team, or you at that time until you scale up, and then you obviously communicating down to the relevant departments within your business. Now, there are so many communication apps and software available that it can become quite overwhelming. And if it becomes overwhelming for yourself, it's definitely going to become overwhelming for your team as well, if you are asking them to use lots of different sort of types of communication methods. So we drill it down to 3 main key communication methods within the team. And the first one is Slack, which allows you to create one workspace for your business, and then you're able to create within that workspace different channels of communication. And you can create a sourcing team channel, you can create a leadership channel, you can create a prepping channel, and all of these channels will be relevant to the system and the team that's responsible. Now, you as the business owner will potentially be in all of them, but your sourcing team might only be in the sourcing channel. So they're able to communicate together if they need to, and if that's what you've set as a requirement. But also the manager, so whether it be yourself or a senior virtual assistant, may also be within that sourcing team channel on Slack. So on a daily basis, there is a form of communication, and that can either be via text, so Messenger on Slack, but you can also upload documents, you can share video links, and you can also directly message the individuals within your team as well. Slack, if you're using a prep center, is also a very good way of communicating instead of email, because again, it acts as a direct message, and there are a lot of prep centers out there that we recommend now that are using this source of communication, and it's recorded. So if you ever need to go back and look for a particular update that you've sent via a Slack channel, it's there and it's recorded, and you can then obviously repurpose that if you need to, or share it again with any of the team members within the channels that it's associated with. For one-to-one meetings and monthly team meetings, and also any meetings that we have face-to-face with virtually with our accountants, we use Zoom. Now, everyone in your team, whether they are due a one-to-one on a weekly basis, or they're also required to attend a monthly team meeting, they're going to need to have access to Zoom their end, so that they can obviously join either the weekly or the monthly meeting link that you or your senior virtual assistants share out to them. Zoom offers a free package, and all video online virtual calls last for 40 minutes. So you can utilize this piece of software very easily without actually having to pay to use it. You can share your screen, you can allow others on a call to share your screen also, and you can have multiple amounts of people on a video call at one time. So it's a fantastic communication method, and definitely something that we recommend that you deploy into your business. And the final one is Loom. Now, Loom is a screencast software. Again, it's absolutely free. You can have up to, at the moment, 25 recorded videos on your cloud account, and each of your team members can create their own Loom account, so that if they ever need to share a message, but they also need to share their screen at the same time in showing you a particular process or something that's not working or something they found that's fantastic and they want to feed that back to you or their manager, they can use Loom to do that. The last two recommended compulsory tools and software that we recommend is under our other column. Now, the first one is a Google Drive. You're going to need to have a business Google Drive because there's going to be lots of documentation that is required within your business, and you're going to need to be able to share that documentation via either view link or edit link. So each person that you have working for you may have a criteria sheet, or they may have a spreadsheet that they need to work off. So it's the responsibility of you as the business owner to ensure that your Google Drive is set up, you've set up access levels to that particular drive. Individuals within your team have got their own drive as well, so if they ever need to save or create or share any documents, you maintain the ownership of those documents because it's on your business drive, but they obviously have the relevant access rights to open and edit as required. And then the last one is Lastpass. So there are a number of software and tools that we have covered within this video that you and your team members are going to have access to, and a lot of them are going to need to have passwords in order to get access to them. Now, you don't want to share any passwords with your team members, despite how loyal they are to your business. It's always thoroughly recommended that you maintain the security and the confidentiality of your business and also your login details. So it's very, very important, especially from a purchasing perspective, because they're potentially going to need to be buying the deals for you and utilizing a PayPal account or a company credit card. And you can very easily not only share login details securely without them seeing what the password is, but also you can share credit and debit card and PayPal information through Lastpass without them even knowing what the numbers are. So we thoroughly recommend Lastpass, which we use with our business. And we can then set various share folders up to different team members. So we actually have a sourcing shared file so that all of the tools and software that the sourcing team need, where we don't want to share the passwords to, they're able to access that folder. We then have a purchasing folder, which only the purchasing team have access to, and so on and so forth. So very, very important to maintain a high level of security, that you're definitely using a password protecting software, and we recommend thoroughly Lastpass within your business. These are the comprehensive list based on the different system or the processes within your business that we suggest that you have in place when you start to, and as you start to grow your business and bring on more team members into the business to work for you. Obviously, this is compulsory, really, in essence, for you to completely grow and scale the business correctly, but also to automate as many of the processes as possible so that you and your team members can work efficiently. The more efficient you are, the better the output's going to be, the greater scale you're going to be able to achieve also as you grow and as you move towards that ultimate business objective that you've set for yourself.